This video is from the course Introduction. It's designed for complete beginners and assumes you have no knowledge of the subject matter. If you are interested in more beginner, intermediate, or advanced content, check out our website, SUBMETA.io.
So we're going to discuss the hierarchy of positions in Jiu-Jitsu.
A really good way to look at it, and a great thought process when you're actually training, is to continually try to improve your positioning. Okay, so you could have a hierarchy of positions essentially, which are from bad through to good, and then the final being the submission. So we want to be working our way through that, and I think it's a great model to use, because I think if you're in one of the bad spots and you're trying to go to the end, if you're trying to go for a submission from one of the bad spots, you're probably doing the wrong thing. You need to kind of progress through this hierarchy of positions, trying to constantly make incremental improvements until you get to the point where you can get a submission.
Yeah, cool. So that's the high level of it. And then if we break it down a little bit, so we start from the guard, which is more or less kind of 50-50 each person. It's not always 50-50, but each person has kind of relatively similar chance to advance. And then we go through to side control, which is much worse for the person on bottom. Then the mount. Back control would be kind of our final destination. It's probably the most dominant position. Some people prefer the mount, some people like back control. And from there, you'll be looking to submit, or if you're underneath, you'll be looking to defend. So it's kind of a map as well. You know where you are depending on which one of these positions you're in. You're either looking to work back into a better position, or you're looking to work forward into a more dominant position. Yeah,
so for example, if you're underneath side control or mount, you should be looking to get yourself back to guard, to have your feet in front of your opponent. If you're on guard on bottom, you're usually looking to get on top. Once you get on top, you tend to have a bit more chance to get to the next dominant positions, which would be to get to side control or mount or the back. And from those dominant positions, we've now got a high likelihood of getting the submission finish.
Yeah, so all throughout that chain, there is opportunity to submit. There's opportunity to submit in the guard. There's opportunity to submit in side control, in the mount, and back control. But the higher up the positional hierarchy we go, the more likely it is that we're going to find a submission, especially on a higher level opponent. On a lower level opponent, they might make mistakes right from the very start of the chain, but on a higher level person, we're going to look to proceed. And I think that's how we want you to think of it. We want you to think of trying to progress through the positions, especially right from the start.
And there is a sport part of jiu-jitsu as well. And points in that sport, the aim in the sport of jiu-jitsu is to submit your opponent. If you get a submission, you win. That's the end of the match. But if you don't submit your opponent, there's a time limit. If you run out of time, it comes down to who gets the most points. And the points are awarded for getting good positioning, improving the positional hierarchy. So if you get to the mount, or if you get past someone's guard, you get in from their guard into side control, or take someone's back, then you're scoring points by doing that. And that can just be a good framework for people to work with. Even if you're not interested in the sports side of it, working off that positional hierarchy when you're training would tend to mean you're moving the fight in the right direction.
Yeah, and that positional hierarchy becomes very important if you're doing this for MMA or self-defense, because the further through the positional hierarchy chain you go, the more effective your opponent's strikes are going to be. So strikes from guard tend to be somewhat limited in their ability to do damage. But from the mount, you can generate a lot of power and you can really start to inflict a lot of damage on your opponent.
So to sum it up, be aware of the position you're in and look for the next phase you can work towards in the positional hierarchy. I hope you enjoyed this video from the course Introduction on SUBMETA.io. If you go to SUBMETA.io, you can watch this course for free, uninterrupted, with exercises to help you with recall. Also for free, we have the follow-up course to this, Foundations 1, Escapes, which builds on the content you'll be learning in this course.